This was the cause of King George's madness. 6. King Tut. King Tutankhamun went down in history for his rise to power 3,000 years ago at the young age of just 9 years old. The discovery of his tomb was one of the greatest finds in modern history, but the young pharaoh passed away at 19 and suffered from a lot of health issues. Many people don't know that the young pharaoh spent his short life plagued by a host of ailments, including a cleft palate, a club foot, a curved spine, issues with his immune system, and inflammation. He was sickly, frail, and most likely in a lot of pain most of the time. He had a degenerative bone disease that made it impossible for him to walk normally, and so, he was usually in a chariot or carried in a royal litter. Researchers say King Tut's health problems came from extensive inbreeding. By the time he was born, Egypt's pharaohs had been marrying their brother and sisters for generations, leading to the genetic deficiencies that often cause incest-related issues. 5. Habsburg jaw. The Habsburgs rose to power during the 13th century and became one of Europe's most powerful families, ruling over Austria, Spain, and the Holy Roman Empire. Like many royal clans, they became plagued by the three effects of severe inbreeding, which was ironically seen as a way of keeping the bloodline pure. Generation of incest led to serious health problems that ultimately ended the Habsburg rule. One of the most distinct features seen among family members was the Habsburg jaw. Known under the medical name mandibular prognathism, the condition is characterized by an oversized jawline and a large tongue. Numerous family members had it, including Duchess Mary of Burgundy, Ferdinand I of Austria, and Ferdinand Lee of Habsburg. By the time King Charles Lee was born, the Habsburgs had been inbreeding for 16 generations. Charles had such a severe case of the Habsburg jaw that his top and bottom teeth did not meet. The ailing king also suffered from other incest-related health problems. 4. The madness of Joanna of Castile. Joanna of Castile was the older sister of Catherine of Aragon and sister-in-law to Henry VIII of England. She descended from the extinct house of Trastamara, which had engaged in incest for centuries, but was a highly intelligent and educated woman who spoke 3 languages. At the age of 16, Joanna married Philip the Handsome, a member of the notoriously inbred Habsburg family. She fell head over heels for him, despite his constant cheating. Joanna began to show signs of mental illness at the young age of 24, when her mother, the famous Catholic Queen Isabella, became ill. She went through periods of not sleeping or eating, and her stress was exacerbated by her husband's infidelity, which often sent her flying into an uncontrollable rage. During an encounter with one of Philip's mistresses, she supposedly stabbed the woman in the face. 3. Ferdinand's feebleness. Ferdinand I of Austria struggled with severe medical issues from the moment he was born in 1793 to parents who were double first cousins. He suffered from hydrocephaly, a buildup of fluid that puts pressure on the brain and can cause lasting damage. As a member of the heavily inbred Habsburg family, Ferdinand carried their infamous jawline and had a speech impediment. He was also epileptic and experienced up to 20 seizures a day. By the time he was 9 years old, Ferdinand was incapable of pouring a glass of water, opening a door, or climbing stairs on his own. It's hard to speculate on the extent of his intellectual setbacks. Some of the king's biographers depict him as a feeble-minded disaster, while others note that he was fluent in 5 languages and artistically talented but eccentric and naive. There's a good chance that at least some of the monarch's many ailments were caused by the incest that had been going on in his family for hundreds of years by the time he was born. He ruled for 13 years despite his health issues and was succeeded by his nephew. 2. The royal disease. Queen Victoria's reign over the United Kingdom and Ireland began in 1837 and lasted until her demise in 1901. She had 9 children with her husband and first cousin, Prince Albert, meaning they were all inbred. Victoria also suffered from a relatively rare blood clotting disorder known as hemophilia B. She passed it down to 2 of her 5 daughters and her youngest son. The Queen herself didn't suffer majorly from the disease which, by then, had a well-known presence among European royal families, earning it the nickname of the royal disease. Victoria's son, Leopold, passed away from a hemorrhage after falling at age 30. Daughters Alice and Beatrice were carriers who passed the condition on to several of their children, and 5 of Victoria's grandchildren lost their lives from hemophilia-related complications. 1. King George III's madness. King George III of England went down in history as the ruler who lost the American Revolution, but he was also known for his erratic behavior, which began during the 1780s with bouts of mania. During these episodes, George spoke for hours without stopping, to the point where he foamed at the mouth, and his voice became hoarse. He frequently repeated himself and wrote sentences that were something over 400 words long. Sometimes, his vocabulary was noticeably complex and creative, but there were also times when his expressions were less rich and markedly more basic. George became so incapacitated. Parliament began considering its option for a new ruler. A bill was in the works to authorize the Prince of Wales as acting regent. When the king recovered in 1789 and resumed his duties, King George was the last ruler from the House of Hanover, a family notorious for its inbreeding and incest-related defects. Don't forget to click the subscribed button, and also click the notification bell for more updates for my new videos. Thank you so much for watching.